the recognition.
Second. Motion's been made, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Ordinance number 756, tax levy 2012. Oh, okay. Okay, we will open this up for ordinance number 756. We will open up for questions on that after the remarks.
Yeah, it's just ordinance 756, it's just an ordinance of the Borough of Darby establishing a tax levy for the year 2012. That a tax being the same is hereby levied on all real property within the Borough of Darby, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, subject to taxation for the fiscal year 2012. In the sum of 16.241 mils for each dollar of assessed valuation. The total of 16.241 mils for each dollar of assessed value shall be assessed as follows. Tax rate for general purposes, 15.399 mils. Fire protection purposes, 0.5609 mils. And for library purposes, 0.2810 mils.
All right, okay, we'll open this up. Excuse me? Oh, okay, Marcus, you do the trash.
And then trash fee will be $245 per household, and sewer fee will be $790 per 1,000 gallons.
Okay. We'll open up to the public. We'll start with the first row. This applies for the same thing as 4 minutes, please. No longer, there's other people that want to speak. Thank you, starting with the first row, please. Starting with the first row, please.
And only questions or comments can be with regards to the ordinance. That's what the floor is being opened up for.
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
I appreciate it, Mr. Einelli kept his comments to himself. This is not a legal matter. This is dealing with our finances. We don't pay you to tell us how to speak at our council meetings. And if I want to speak about this ordinance, I'll speak about this ordinance. This is about this budget. Now, my question again is going to be, you are going to raise our taxes. You are raising our trash. You are raising our sewer. You are raising our real estate taxes. I want to know where is the proof and the records of why you are raising our taxes to increase his salary $52,766. Where are the records? Mr. Einelli?
Yes.
I think Mrs. Davis has a mind of her own, and she doesn't need you to sit there and tap her and tell her not to answer me. I am directing a question to my council president. I'm not directing it to you. Now, Mrs. Davis, I would like an answer as to why you are raising our taxes, and where are the records that prove that there's a need to raise the taxes. The records specifically for the line item for Robert Smythe's salary. And for Mr. Solicitor's salary, Mr. Einelli, I would also like to make a comment and a recommendation, the same recommendation I made last month and in December 1st. The solicitor has no business being at this meeting right now. The solicitor should be here, and he should be here to rule on matters of legal nature only. Now, you're paying him $55,000 out of our tax money. You can sit there and laugh all you want, Mr. Einelli. It's not your taxes that are paying your salary. My taxes are paying you to sit here and tell these council people how to answer, what to answer, when to answer. And that's not what my tax dollars are for. My tax dollars are for you to make a legal solicitor's written report, which you never do. Neither does Mr. Santarelli. And then you leave. Because we're not going to sit here and pay you $100 an hour or whatever it is you charge, $150 an hour, to sit here at a council meeting to tell council people how to do their job. My tax dollars and everybody else in this town are being wasted paying this man to sit here. Now, Mrs. Davis, there's 2 line items in the budget, the solicitor's salary and the chief's salary, that I want an answer to. I want to know why you're paying him $55,000 to attend meetings. He needs to have that salary cut to $20,000 is sufficient to handle the legal matters for the borough. And where are the records? Mr. Einell, I'm not addressing you, I'm addressing my council president. I don't want an answer from you. I'm not paying you to answer me. My tax dollars are being addressed on a matter that is a financial record that is none of your business. Mrs. Davis, where are the records to prove that you have to raise our taxes? Where are the records? Mrs. Davis, do you have an answer?
The questions that you were asking.
Mrs. Davis, are you going to answer? Mrs. Davis, I have a legitimate question. You're raising my taxes, and I want to know where is the proof why you have to raise my taxes. Where are the records? So you're refusing to provide the records, and you're refusing to even answer the records. So my next question is, Mrs. Davis, why do you have to raise our taxes? Do you have an answer for that? Mrs. Davis, do you have any idea of how much our taxes are being raised? Mrs. Davis, I'm asking Mrs. Davis, it's not a legal matter, it's a financial matter, Mr. Einelli again.
Again,
Mrs. Davis, do you have an answer? So you're going to tell her whether or not she can answer a resident.
no, that's not.
Mr. Einelli, I am addressing my council president.
You're not asking a question.
I am asking my council president as to why my taxes are being raised. And where is the proof that indicates the reason for the raise?
Because she's got no jobs.
So Mrs. Davis has left the room, so I will now address my question to the Vice President of Council, Mr. Blackson. Do you have an answer as to why you are raising our taxes this evening? Do you have an answer as to where the proof is? Mr. Blackson, do you have an answer?
Time's up. Next.
You don't have any legal standards that state it's only 4 minutes during public comment for this tax hearing.
Why are our taxes being raised? It's coming out of my earned money that I worked very hard for, and you're raising my taxes. So why are you raising our taxes?
We've had 3 or 4 budget meetings, and we had a PowerPoint presentation at the last one. We had it out, we passed it out. Taxes are going up, as I said last time. Our expenses are a little less than last year's budgeted item. Our revenue is underperforming. Our delinquent taxes have gone up, and there's been...
So the people that do pay their taxes are being raised for the delinquent people that don't pay their taxes.
That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. The economy's suffering. Our revenues are down.
So am I suffering.
I know. Can I finish, please? Thank you. You asked a question. Let me answer your question, and I'll answer anything else you have to answer. The question is, why are your taxes going up? It has nothing to do with certain items and so forth. The revenue is underperforming. We're required by law to balance the budget. We can't do like the federal government and run $1 trillion deficits. We're required to balance the budget. Our revenues are underperforming. So what happens is we have to raise taxes. Our expenses have stayed pretty stable. We had some increases in our insurances, and per the contract, there's a 3% increase for the police per the contract item. So but our revenues are down about $300,000 from last year.
But why are the revenues down?
Well, a couple of combinations. Our earned income tax collections are down because less people are working.
Well, that's going to be fixed because the employers are going to be taking that out.
There'll be more people compliant. Doesn't mean it's going to be fixed because less people are working now. And you don't collect earned income tax on people that are unemployed, seniors and so forth. That number's down because less people are working. Plus, more towns in Delaware County have enacted the tax, so more that money's not staying in Darby, it's going to the towns that enacted the 1% tax. Our real estate taxes, our assessment, because there's been no building in town, our millage assessment that we get from the county is down, so our mill is less this year than it was last year. So our overall tax money and our net mill is less than last year. There's more delinquents. People, because of hard times, are having more trouble paying their real estate taxes. That number's down. Our real estate transfer tax, where about 4 or 5 years ago we collected about $100,000 a year, and is down because no houses are selling. That's a 1% transfer tax when a house is sold. We split that with the school district. That's down in budget at about $30,000 or $40,000. It's about a $60,000 drop.
We have less grants that we've received, there's less money receiving from the feds and the state they're not paying out also. Our rent, we did a deal with the cell tower last year. We're not getting that money on the cell tower end to help us balance the budget last year. And then our miscellaneous revenues we get from permits, residential licenses, apartment licenses, and so forth, are down because people don't have the money to get the financing to do additions to their house. Less businesses are holding back. So that's what we're facing. If you saw in the paper yesterday, the state halfway through the year is $500 million already.
No, I get the delivery, but it wasn't delivered for 2 days.
This is what we're dealing with. And I'm reporting the revenues, and we're required by law to balance. Supposed we have to raise the taxes to do that, and that's what we're trying to do. That's the cause of the tax increase.
This is
We
not.
haven't raised taxes in the past 4 years, so it's a should we do a little a year, or keep them flat and raise them when we need it? That's the philosophy. But we haven't raised them since 2007.
This is not a set of circumstances limited to one municipality. It's affecting all municipalities across the Commonwealth and across all 50 states.
Yeah, but
It's
we're
something
also our taxes are being raised to pay for Chief Smythe.
That's,
And Mr. Einelli, who should not be commenting right now because it's not a legal matter. It's not a matter for a lawyer.
It's going to cost us more money in
It's not.
taxes.
That's
to
not
pay that.
right.
That's $52,000 more.
Salary has it's a 3% increase on the salary, and there's severance for 2 officers. She's one of them. That money's being funded. It doesn't mean it's going to be paid this year, but we're trying to put money aside now because they should have done that about 12 or 15 years ago. Put money aside to pay that. They haven't done that. So we're starting to put
So
money
we
aside
have to pay for it.
So you mean to tell me that you're going to put $52,000 aside and not pay him?
The next person, please, go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead.
What's the percentage of the
Can you stand up, please?
It comes
We
to
can hear
about
you.
$8 a month, depending on it depends on what your house is assessed at. But the average on the average assessment comes about $8 a month.
Next, you finished?
Yes.
Next.
Yeah, first of all, I have nothing personal against anybody on council or Chief Smythe. I've known Chief Smythe for a number of years, having worked at Upper Darby Police Department. But I just want to know why Mrs. Brown's question can't be answered.
It's very simple.
He just
because it's not-
answered it.
No, he didn't.
She didn't ask a question.
Mr. Einelli, this is not legal. You need to stop.
Brown, would
You need to stop him and control your meeting.
Someone else talk, please.
The lawyer should not be answering a financial question.
Gentleman right here, please, Miss Brown.
Answer his question, not him.
Please, Miss Brown.
I mean,
Go ahead, sir.
if the man earned the money, I have no problem with that. But I mean, are there records, like she's asking?
Where are they?
There was a district attorney's investigation way back when. They did an audit of the findings, and they were found that all those hours were owed. We paid 2 officers back roughly 10 years ago. Darby Borough took an unfunded debt loan through Sharon Bank. They paid 2 officers quite a sum of money because they were owed too. It wasn't just Chief Smythe, there's 5 or 6 officers that were owed the money. We've already paid 2 officers off. These are from the district attorney's office in Delaware County. It wasn't anything that we provided the records. They were audited, and they were verified that they were paid. We paid another officer 2 years ago, over 3 years. This will be the last year he's getting paid. They were all paid. It's legitimate. It's not the records here. They were verified by the district attorney's office. You can check in the newspapers 10 years ago. There's a big article on it.
How did it go from 125 to 200,
It's
Joe?
also not unusual for towns, state police, state employees to carry accrued time forward. It's not unusual.
Not like that.
When you're in a financial situation, sometimes you ask officers, state employees to work hours, not take vacation, they carry their time forward. It's not unusual. We stopped the practice in the year 2000. Any officer that works overtime gets paid for the overtime. Any officer that doesn't take his vacation will lose it. So they take their vacation or they don't get paid for it. That practice was stopped in 2000 over the last 10 years. This is nothing unusual. It's been a big article on this stuff. It's nothing unusual. All the records have been verified through the district attorney's office.
And we're having-
Have the figure increased, Joe? And you just said the records are there.
Miss Brown, please.
Where's the records of when he took off?
We are not going to engage in misrepresentations and rehashing things that have taken place in the past.
You've never produced the records, so it's not rehashing, and it's not a legal matter, Mr. Einelli.
There is the opportunity.
You're wrong.
To request to see any documents at any point in time. Ms. Brown has made them in the past, she's received them.
No, I have not. I have not received his payroll records. I have not received them. I have not received the deducted sick days and vacation days that he took, where he only worked 2 days a week when I supervised him.
Brown, please. And
Those records don't exist.
Brown, I'm speaking. And sir, can I say this to you, please?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is from the bottom of my heart. This council, every one of us who are up here now, this did not happen under our administration.
Yes, it did.
It happened under the other administration. He just told you what, how long ago, Joe?
In the 90s.
In the 90s.
You were here, Janice.
Under our administration, it happened, they had already done this. I was not, what I'm saying, I was not the president, Helen was not the mayor.
You took the records out to the DA's office with me. Now you switch up.
You turned out to be a bank robber.
Excuse me, sir? Excuse me, sir? You called me a bank robber?
No.
Oh,
You turned out to be a bank robber.
I don't have nothing to do with that, sir. I'm
None of
speaking
us
about
do.
us. I
He
am
was our
trying
mayor.
to just say
So
that
I
this
thought.
has been an ongoing thing,
Why is
sir.
why is this being pushed
Why is
against
this
the
man
people?
speaking now?
Because I
You
thought
will
I
get
was
your time.
taxed.
Sir, sit down a minute. You'll get your time to speak. I'm coming to you next. I'm just trying to say something to this man. It happened and we are just trying to clear this up. It did not happen under our administration. The percentages were not here. It did not happen under our administration. That's all I'm trying to say. We are trying to clean it up. It should have been taken care of a long time ago, and it wasn't. Next. Okay, sir, your turn now.
I just want to know why you're pushing all this against the people, while Robert Smythe gets a huge increase at the same time. Instead of offering the people some copy of proof, it seems like you're just throwing it in their faces and increasing taxes at the same time as you give him a big lump sum. All we want to see is the proof. When you talk about these
Sir, did you
crack
ever
mains on
come
Main
up to
Street,
the,
you talk about these crack mains on Main Street. I've seen a big budget rental truck, which is about 50 tons, laying across somebody's lawn at the top of 13th Street since about 7:30 this morning, and I guarantee it's still there. Right now, those storm drains and them pipes are cracking. Boy, they've been there all day. I know there's holes. Now, I know there's probably more critters and all kinds of things running into them drains from the dirt. How many people know this? How much money are we going to have to pay because somebody didn't know that this was illegal? I guarantee that there's been cop cars driving up and down past these big trucks all day. It's just been laying from the front of the house to the top of Main Street, across the
All right, sir. Sir,
pedestrian
we're not on the
walkway.
subject right now. You're off the subject now.
Well, then why can we not see this? Why can we not see the
Sir,
records?
why don't you come up to the borough and request to see them?
I already did. Why can we
You
not?
did? Who did
The
you
people,
request them?
the
Who did
people
you
are
speak
requesting
to?
them right now.
Sir, who did you request to see them from? You came and spoke to
So you'll give them to everybody else but me? I've been requesting them for over 2 years, and I've yet to receive them.
Let's move on.
Yet to receive them.
We're going to close this meeting. We're closing the
Because
public
there's
meeting
screw
now.
ups every
Let's
day.
move
You're
on.
Because you don't have the records, that's why.
You're pushing these taxes into our
Can we get a
faces.
motion to accept
But
this?
you're not-
Anybody that votes for this needs to turn in their resignation as a council member, because there are no records. There are no records that prove that this man is owed $200,000. There are no records. If you vote for this, you ought to be ashamed, and you all ought to be recalled. You all, if you think they can recall Governor Walker, if you think you're untouchable, you got another thought coming. Every single one of you need to be recalled if you vote to give that man $200,000. And you can sit there and smirk all you want, and you know you're not owed one penny. One penny, and you know it. You know you owe us. You know it.
Let's move on.
You know you never worked more than 2 days a week, and you know it.
I
You worked at your houses and you know it. You worked at your business. You worked at your snow plowing job. And all those days were to be deducted. That's fraud and corruption. Fraud and corruption. And don't think I won't go to the Attorney General.
This was planned.
Asking council to pass resolution 2011-018 for the tax anticipation note, the amount of $600,000 through Sharon Bank.
Can I get that roll? Second. Motion's been made, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Disgrace.
You are too.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Resolution.
I don't rob the taxpayers.
11-019. 401 Chester Pike, conditional use, please.
All right, this resolution deals with what the conditional use hearing was before the start of this meeting.
Just concerned citizens.
The resolution points out the fact that the Darby Borough Planning Commission met and approved the conditional use. At our hearing, at our conditional use hearing, many of the individuals of this government
Why is the solicitor giving this report?
raised concerns.
This is not a legal matter.
Brown, mind your business or get out of this meeting.
Well, stop paying him money that he doesn't deserve. My tax money.
You don't pay.
My tax money. I'm a homeowner. My tax money. My tax money.
Stop.
Damn.
Tired of her.
That's
You've never owned a house in your life, Janice. Never. You've never paid real estate taxes.
You don't know what I
Oh,
did.
yes, I do.
You don't know what I did.
everybody a bum?
$100 an hour or more that this man's getting paid for nothing.
Here, Miss Brown.
That's our tax money. No.
You like to run the meeting
No.
around here.
No. I want to see my tax dollars spent the way they should.
That's all you want.
Mom, can you
No, who's this TV man? How much did you pay him?
Mom,
They
please.
never stay this long.
This is America. America. Freedom of speech.
Yeah, I know.
The right to know.
You sir.
The residents have a right to know.
Stay here this long.
That's a disgrace.
Paid you, didn't she?
You ought to be recalled, every single one.
So should you.
It's a disgrace.
A long time ago.
Don't even know how to carry yourself as an elected official.
I'm sorry, Mr. Miller. Go ahead. I'm asking my solicitor to read this, if nobody minds.
Because you can't.
I'm asking him to do this.
It's your job as council president to talk about this. The conditional use falls under the ordinance committee, the code enforcement department, not the solicitor.
Since you're not here, we changed things a little bit.
You changed things, right? You got rid of all the jobs that you're supposed to do that you get paid for every month. You get a check every month.
Oh.
You get a check every month to do a job. You don't hand it off to these people. You get $200 a month. Why am I paying him $100 an hour to read something that you should be able to read and comprehend? But you can't comprehend it and you can't read it.
He's just sitting
The
on his
members of the
butt.
Borough Council had questions regarding the safety of the parking lot.
Yeah.
In the resolution, what we have done is we have
Damn shame.
approval of the application, subject to a number of conditions. And the one that I want to direct everyone's attention to is 5B, which is on the second page. And that's a plan of safe loading and unloading areas that comply with the law approved by the Borough Code Enforcement Department and the Police Department. So we will clear upon approval of this resolution that the applicant will have to work with the police department and the code department to make sure that the process of getting the children from the parking lot on one side of Pine Street across the building on the other side of Grove Sewer is safe. The resolution states, whereas Janine Fields, resident at 1134 Yaden Avenue, DA, filed an application for approval of a conditional use to operate a preschool at 401 Chester Pike, Darby. And whereas the quorum of the Darby Borough Planning Commission met on November 30, 2011, pursuant to duly advertised notice and conducted a public hearing in which applicant represented by counsel presented evidence supporting their application. And whereas the Darby Borough Planning Commission communicated to the Borough Secretary in writing on December 16th that it recommended approval of the application with conditions. It is now to be resolved in the Borough of Darby Council. Based on matters presented of record, 1, the proposed use is in the HC Highway Commercial District. 2, the proposed use is a conditional use in the Highway Commercial District. The evidence presented and other matters of record proposed by the applicant are accepted in the record and determined as credible. 4, provided that applicant comply with the conditions outlined below, it is the Borough Council's determination that the proposed use A will not adversely affect public health, safety, and welfare, as it does not appear to adversely change traffic conditions, drainage, air quality, noise levels, neighborhood property values, natural features, and aesthetic neighborhood characteristics. B, will be in accordance with community development objectives of Darby Borough. C, provide suitable parking. D, will not adversely affect the logical, efficient, and economical extension or provision of public services and facilities such as public water, sewers, refuse collection, police, fire, protection, public schools. E, will not otherwise adversely affect public health, safety, or welfare. The application is approved subject to the following conditions. A, applicant's compliance with the Darby Borough Zoning Code 2010. B, and this is what I call your attention to, a plan of safe loading and unloading areas that comply with applicable law approved by the Borough Code Enforcement Department, Police Department. C, demonstration to the Borough Code Department of appropriate parking or obtaining any necessary zoning variance related thereto. D, signage, lighting, and screening is required by the Darby Borough Zoning Ordinance of 2010 for the obtaining of any legal necessary variance therefrom. E, approvals of the Darby Borough Code Department after compliance with all requirements of the Uniform Construction Code, International Fire Code, International Property Maintenance Code, and other borough ordinances. G, obtaining all necessary permits and approvals related to sewer connections and use. And H, obtaining all necessary clearances, licenses, and permits from local, county, state authorities. The Borough Code Enforcement Department, solicitor, engineer, and manager are authorized to do the things that are necessary to ensure compliance with this resolution. A copy of this resolution shall be maintained in the files relating to the reference property, and the Borough Secretary shall maintain all records relating hereto in accordance with the law. And we ask that there be a motion to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Can I get that motion, please? We are voting on the resolution, or we're going to vote on the resolution. And this is concerning the daycare that's going to be in Chester Pike. So I guess if you kind of vote on the resolution, or should we do it the other way around? If you vote on the resolution, means you're voting for the...
Yea vote, vote in favor of the resolution means that you are
Voting on the daycare.
you are approving the conditional use. And subject to the conditions, including the one where additional work will be done to ensure the safety of the children moving from the parking lot to the building.
So what I'm trying to say is you're still voting for the approval of the daycare along with the conditions, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Two things for those folks who couldn't hear Vice President Blackson's comments. He was pointing out that the importance of compliance with 5B, the plan of safe loading and unloading areas that comply with applicable law. Approval of the Borough Code, approved by the Borough Code Enforcement Department, Police Department. Further down, a provision of this resolution is that the Borough Code Enforcement Department, the solicitor, engineer, and manager are authorized to do the things necessary to enforce compliance. So if there is not a plan that meets with the approval of this organization, then necessary steps